Guys, look at my bunny. And he's a cutie. Yeah, that rabbit's a jerk. Anyway, I got a request to do a foundation routine. So if you'd like to see how to do your base for your face, keep on watching. First, I'm going to apply primer to my face. This is the NYX Angel Veil Primer. It's just a skin perfecting primer. So I'm just going to use a little bit just in like where my pores are the biggest. That's pretty much just the middle of my face. And I'm just going to spread it out to the rest of my face. Once I'm finished priming, I have to let the primer sit for a little bit so that it's soaked into the skin. Okay, now that my primer has sat for a couple minutes, I'm going to take my foundation. I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the color Ivory, because that's how light I am. And I'm just going to pump it onto the back of my hand. 1.5 pumps should do. And I'm just going to take a buffing brush. This is a Morphe brush. It came in a bag with 2 other big brushes and 3 small brushes that are like identical. So I'm just going to use this and just dab it onto the face. And I also want to bring it down to my neck. So just work it down the neck. I'm always very careful on my neck because your neck is one of the #1 things that shows your age. Your neck, your hands, and your lips are the top things that show your age. And if you stretch out your neck, you're gonna get these lines. It's gonna make it look baggy and saggy, and you're gonna look older. And once I'm done with the neck, it's time to conceal the under eye bags. Currently, I've been using the Urban Decay Naked Skin. And I'm gonna deal with this first. I'm not gonna apply here and here and here yet until I've blended this out because it will dry up a little bit. So I'm going to take a damp beauty blender and jab it into the skin. And in order to make your nose appear smaller, this is a good tip, is this side I haven't done it yet. So this side, you can definitely tell that my nose looks a lot wider. And that would be the case if I just left the concealer right by the base of my nose. But instead of doing that, I bring the concealer up higher on my nose, and that will give the illusion that your nose is snatched, because the illusion of light is what makes things appear larger. And if you put a lot of light up higher on your nose, it's gonna make this part of your face appear larger and brighter. Just a little pro tip for you. Now I'm going to do my forehead. And here's another tip. If you have a big forehead, you don't really want to bring a lot of attention to your forehead. So you don't want to bring that highlight all the way up. If you have a small, tiny forehead, you might want to bring up that highlight if you want your forehead to appear larger. But I think I have a medium-sized forehead, so I'm just gonna go up a little bit. I don't really want to bring a lot of attention to my forehead, but I do want that brightening effect. So I'm just gonna blend that out. And now I want to go down the center of my nose. I'm not going to apply too much, just little dabs of product like so. And then I'm going to do right under the nose like this. And on top of the lip. And I personally don't like my chin highlighted, at least not a lot. So if there's anything left on my sponge, I will dab it onto my chin. Okay, now I'm going to contour my face. And I've been feeling the cream contour lately. So I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit in light, obviously. I'm so pale. I've actually not ever touched this color, so I'm going to do that. I think it's a bit of a warmer shade, but I'm okay with that. And a good tip with the Anastasia Cream Contour Kit is to apply some oil onto the color. So I'm just gonna take this it's called Aromatherapy Argan oil. It's a face serum, so it's meant for the face. You don't want to use canola oil on your face. I'm just gonna take like the tiniest amount and just drop it, like a tiny bit, and drop it onto the palette or onto the color that I want to use. And I'm gonna take this brush. This is a Morphe brush. This came with the other brush I was talking about. I'm gonna take this brush and dip it very, very lightly into the color. And that color is Havana. And I'm just going to put it into the hollows of my cheeks, right here on my forehead, and maybe a little bit on my nose. And I personally don't want to take that contour down too far because I already have pretty high cheekbones, and if I brought it all the way down, I would look like that, completely chiseled, and I don't personally like that. And I'm gonna take that damp beauty blender and blend it in. I'm gonna do my forehead. And I'm going to try my nose. I feel like I'm gonna regret this, but So when you contour your nose, a big mistake that people make is they want to, well, if you want your nose to look snatched, you want it to look skinnier than it is, right? And some people tend to just highlight this, what do you call it? This part of your nose, they highlight it by literally going along that edge with a dark color. And it literally makes that part of your nose stand out, which is not what you want. So when you're contouring your nose, what you want is to make it appear smaller. So you want to go closer to the very center of your nose with that dark color. Then it will give the appearance that your nose is skinnier than it is. Now that I'm done with that, it's time for me to powder my face. And I actually completely forgot that I have to bake my face. And this is my favorite baking powder. It is the NYX Color Correcting Powder in the shade Banana. I really love this color for my skin tone. It's perfect because I have a yellow undertone. So I'm just going to take that beauty blender again and dip it or dab it into the product so that it looks like this. And I'm going to bake my under eyes. Like I said about the concealer that I was used to brighten my face, I want to bring it up the side of my nose because that will make my nose appear to be smaller. I'm going to bake the bridge of my nose right under my nose. My forehead, just the center of my forehead. I'm going to powder my face. Powder that I've been using lately is this Chanel Shine Control Powder. And on it looks like this. And this is like my exact skin tone. It's pretty much like blotting powder. Like a blotting paper. So I just apply that everywhere that the lighter parts of my face that I didn't use that baking powder. I used a Sephora Pro Flawless Light Powder Brush. Now I'm going to set my contour with the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit in light, of course. A very fluffy light brush for this. This is a Morphe M500. I'm going to use this shade right here. It's the shade Java, and I'm just gonna tap into it lightly and set that contour. So now that I'm done contouring and all that jazz, I'm going to apply my blush. My most favorite part of every look that I do, it's that highlight I want to do this highlight color by NYX called Narcissistic. And it's this pretty orangey shade. That highlight was enough for me, so I'm going to layer the NYX highlighter in Ritualistic on top of that, and that is a light, very light colored highlight with like champagne. It has champagne reflex in it, and I'm just gonna amp up this highlight. This is the same highlight I'm gonna use on the top of my lip and down the center of my nose. And that's the final look, you guys. That's my current foundation routine. For my lips, I just used NYX retractable lip liner in Nude. And on top of that, I used the Wet n Wild lipstick in a short affair. This and this made this. And my lashes are Vegas nail lashes in Grand Glamour, in case you were wondering. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.